So normally I would have recorded this video in the middle of the day, but it my light just turned off. But it's it was so hot today that every time I tried to record it, my phone would overheat. So that's super cool. And that kind of goes into what I was going to start off with, is that I've had so many mental oh, you can actually see, that's crazy. I'm recording at a Dollar General right now because it's the only place that has a good enough light to see my face good enough. Anyway, I've had a lot of like mental battles while I've been doing this, like for that first video and today, where my mind was telling me, don't even worry about it. You don't need to do it. You're not helping anybody by doing it. And that's really not the case. I feel like doing this is a very good mental and spiritual thing for me. And if it helps somebody else, that's awesome. I don't need it to. I don't mind if this gets 0 views for all of eternity. I'm doing this mainly to help me and to help other people if this does help them. Now, without that out of the way, I can go into what I actually wanted to talk about, which is social media is the worst thing to ever exist. And I mean that. I mean that seriously. I can't think of anything else throughout all of history that has corrupted the minds of every human being quite like social media has. And, well, really media in general, but social media is the main antagonist, if you will. And there's a few points that I want to make to prove that. The first one being that social media is a humongous time waster. Now, not everybody wastes their time on social media. I certainly do, and I know a lot of people do. And I know it's not just me. I would spend, before I deleted Instagram, I would spend probably like 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 hours a day on Instagram, just scrolling through reels, just mindlessly. I'm not even thinking. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just wasting my time. I'm not doing anything beneficial with my life by doing that. And it's not even a benefit to me because I'm forgetting what I was watching. Like, let's say, and I know this applies to everybody, where the attention span of us as people is shrinking because of short form content. Like, for example, let's say you watch, 4 reels, right? One of them is about cats, and one of them is about dogs, and one of them was a cute little baby video, and one of them is, if you were a Harry Potter character, which one would you be based on what month you were born in, right? What was the first one? What was the first one that you watched? It was Cats, if you forgot. Which I don't blame you if you forgot, because your mind is being corrupted by your attention span being killed. And if you didn't forget, well, good job. And it's just terrible. It's terrible. And then the second point that I wanted to talk about was the desensitization. Actually, before I get into that, I also want to talk about how normalized it is for us to not only do that with social media, but do that with our phones, where we'll spend forever on our phones, right? Like, I have friends that we've had conversations where it's like, oh, I had 8 hours of screen time a day this week. Well, I had 9 hours of screen time a day this week. Oh, okay, well, I guess I got to do better. It's not a competition. Why do you want to have more screen time? Like, I don't mean to sound like a boomer, but you're not, it's not benefiting anybody. It's not even really benefiting yourself. Like, maybe in like a little 5-minute span, it's just, yeah, you having fun. But over a long span of time, you're gonna forget the first thing that you did, and the second thing that you did, and the third thing you did. The only thing you're gonna remember is like the last 5 minutes, and it's just bothersome because that's the only thing that we do that with. Like, let's say I had like this insatiable urge to go play Monopoly, right? And I play Monopoly for 8 hours, not 8 hours, that's a lot. I play Monopoly for 4 to 5 hours every single day, right? Maybe the first day or the second day, my family would be like, that's kind of weird. Why are you into Monopoly right now so much? But it would turn into get up and go do something with your life instead of spending all day playing Monopoly. And for some reason, my generation in particular likes to normalize the idea of spending 5+ hours on our phones every day. And I know some people have to for the sake of work or whatever, but 90% of us are just doing it for the sake of passing time because we never want to be bored. We never want to have to think about stuff. We would rather just be able to go watch YouTube or go watch Instagram or do whatever, you know? Okay, now I can get into the second topic I was going to talk about, which is the desensitization of everything, but really I'm going to talk about this one topic. So I remember earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, maybe it was late 2025, when the Instagram moderation system went down. And I don't know if that's like a human thing or if that's like a algorithm thing, but it went down. That's the point. And all that was on Instagram was either, well, maybe not for everybody, but for me, the only thing I could find on Instagram whenever I watched it was gore or shootings or a fighting or, you know, and it just stuff like that. Violent content, basically. And that's kind of a tame example because it only lasted, like less than a day, right? So that's something where you would just you're just scrolling normally, out of nowhere, a gore video comes up and you're like, oh, whoa, what the heck? All right, on with the rest of my day. But there are other ways to consume content like that's not just for a day. You can watch it 24 hours a day if you want. Like whenever I was 14, I was like super edgy and like dumb. And I was edgy. So what I would do was I would go on the gore subreddit on Reddit, and I would just watch tons of gore videos, like these people, like these war photos and these war videos and people getting their heads chopped off, stuff like that. And it desensitized me to the fact that it is wrong and to the fact that it is sinful for those things to happen, right? And I feel like there's so many different sinful things that we are desensitized through social media, right? Like, and all of media, you know, like movies and games. Like Saw is a great example of where the main attraction of those movies is the torture / escape room aspect of it, right? And we're just okay with seeing these people put in these torturous situations. And it desensitizes us to those situations where we only see that as like something that's normal. And for Saw, maybe it's not a huge deal because at the end of the day, those are actors, right? And it's not real people. But, you know, it makes us to where we don't care whether it's actors or not. Like, let's say you watched a video on Reddit, right? And it's a woman with a bag over her head getting her head chopped off, right? Some of you might go, whoa, that's a crazy video. And then some of you might go, whoa, that's a crazy video. I never want to see that again. I'm going to report this. And then some of you might go, whoa, that was a crazy video. Upvote, I need to see more of this. But then, let's say they take the bag off before they start cutting her head off, and you find out it's your mom, right? Then it changes to, oh my God, why would they do this? Well, I need to do something about this. This isn't right. That's my mother, right? But the other person before was also somebody's mother, theoretically. They could be somebody's mother. They're definitely somebody's daughter, right? They could be somebody's sister. They're somebody's family or friend. But we don't see them as that because they're not somebody that's part of our everyday lives. We see them as just a source of entertainment. They're just like an actor to us, that it's not real. And 80% of the time, it is somebody real. That's somebody who maybe did something wrong, but certainly didn't deserve to die. And certainly didn't deserve to be treated like a clown on the internet. Like they're just there to be laughed at, right? That's not okay at all. And we've normalized that in a way because Lord knows it's been a long time since I've seen any of that. They could have taken it down by now. But back whenever that was a thing, there was millions of members on those subreddits. It's not like it was some niche thing where I just happened to find something. It was popular. It was really popular. I'm talking millions of members. That's not hyperbole. And so those bare minimum 1 million people had become desensitized and normalized to that, where they didn't care. They saw it and felt no guilt and felt no remorse for those people. Right? And that's what media does as a whole, social media. Anyway, and it can desensitize us to good things too. I'm not saying it can't, but obviously rotten apples don't make fresh apples. I mean, you know what? Don't stop. I'm losing myself here. Okay? Anyway, on to my third point, which is the pool of addiction that social media is. Sorry, some car keeps driving around here. It's really tweaking me out. It's only happens when you record at a Dollar General. But the pool of addiction that social media has, that uses the pool, to lure people to it. Right? Sorry, that was kind of confusing. I'm going to use gambling as an example to start off with. So let's say that, well, actually, really quick, let me take a drink break. Okay. So let's say that you are a person that likes to watch pranksters on Instagram for some reason. I don't know why you like that, but go ahead. And you see this person doing their video that you like a lot. You like this person. And they go up to this person's door. They go, knock, knock, knock. Hey, is your refrigerator running? Yeah, my refrigerator's running. Better go catch it. Ha ha ha. Some stupid crap like that, right? But let's say before the video, or before he knocks on the door, he shows his phone on the camera and goes, oh, let me see if I can make any money on Stake, the betting app. Right? And you see him win. In every video you watch, you see him winning. So you think to yourself, if I play that app, I could win money too. When that is simply not the case. It's rigged from the start because he is being promoted to advertise that. He's being paid to advertise it, He's being paid to advertise the product. So they're going to purposefully show him winning every time to make you want to use it. And I think the reason that this upsets me so much is because I have had a sports betting problem. Where, whenever I was in high school during my senior year, I told myself, I'm going to do sports betting. And I'm going to make a lot of money doing it because I love basketball and I know what I'm talking about. And I did it. And I probably did 300 bets, I would guess. And I would say that I won probably 80 of them, which is a major loss, right? But the reason I did 300 of them to begin with is because whenever I would lose, I would tell myself, All I got to do is win one more and I'll make that money back. All I got to do is win one more and I'll make my money back. All I got to do is win one more and I'll make my money back. And that's not true. You're just going to keep digging yourself a bigger hole while slightly getting your way out just to dig it farther deeper, right? So let's say you're using stake, right? You put $50 in, you lose. You say, okay, well, if I just put $50 in, I'll make $150 and make that up. So you put another $50 in, you lose again. You put another $50 in, you lose again. You put another $50 in, you won. You won. I can't believe it. You made $150. But guess what? You're still down 50. So you do it again, you lose. Do it again, you lose. This time you lose 8 times. You hadn't won yet. Now you're out, what, $400? It's just, you are never going to win because they never designed for you to make a major profit. At least 99% of people that play, right? There are some people that know how to foil the system and they do good. But 99% of people are never going to win because you were never made to win. And they make it hard to quit too. You know, obviously all of these advertisements are like, call 1-800-GAMBLER for help. But, you know, they put it in tiny little white text. It's about that big. And what they'll do to keep you playing, what they did to keep me playing, is they would put these incentives on the app that made you want to keep doing it. Where they'll say, oh, get a 2 times multiplier on whatever bet you make tonight. Or, we've cut this player's bet down to 13 points instead of 15 points. Now he's only got to get 13 points and you'll make your money. Or the thing that they do the most, that got me the most, was they'd say, get a 25% deposit match. Which means that if you were to put $100 in, they would put $25 in. Which you couldn't withdraw. You couldn't just steal their money like that. But you put $100 in, they would put $25 in for you to use. So you would think, oh, that's just free money. And I can use that money to make more money. But it's not free money because you're going to lose it anyway. You're going to lose that money almost immediately. You're not going to win. You're just going to dig a deeper hole. The best solution is to stop and just work. And just do hard work to make your money back. Instead of losing more of it. The second one I want to talk about, the second addiction that I want to talk about, is porn. And I'm not talking about just straight porn. I mean, I've never seen that on, like, Instagram. Though I have seen it on Reddit. Actually, we'll get to that. But first, I'm going to talk about the OnlyFans stuff. We have sort of mainstreamed OnlyFans artists. And we've allowed them to take over the mainstream in a way where we are starting to desensitize them and starting to normalize what they do. And, you know, all these girls that are young, all these teenage girls that aren't even out of high school yet are telling themselves, I'm just going to be an OnlyFans model whenever I grow up. Whenever that is sinful. We are promoting and normalizing this sinful acts because it's a cheap, it's a get rich quick scheme. Whenever these models are lying about the money that they're making. So yeah, they're probably making really good money. I do not doubt that at all. But they're not making the money that they say they're making, that's for sure. And it's a sinful job to have in the first place, so you're just dooming yourself, really. If all you care about in life is money, then that's good. But OnlyFans models don't really have respect, and they are actively committing sin as a job. But we've normalized it and made it seem like it's an okay job to have. We just don't respect you for doing it. But it's fine to have that job. Wow, this car is really just deciding to flash all lights right in front of me. That it's an okay job to have. Just a lot of people don't respect it. Whenever it shouldn't even be an okay job to have in the first place, it's a sinful job to have. But we let all these people like Sophie Rain and Bonnie Blue and and Mia Khalifa. Well, she doesn't even really do it anymore, but she was definitely a meme-ified person. And that one like Asian girl that was with Sophie, like they were like friends or whatever. I don't really know her name, but that's not the point. We let them become like these famous stars for something that should, at the bare minimum, or at the maximum, I mean, be just a niche little section of people. It shouldn't be something that's advertised to the entire world when it comes to a subject that is heavily tempting, right? And that's the same way with gambling. Like, I'm a huge sports fan, like I said. When I watch, I'm from North Carolina, so whenever I watch my favorite team, the Hornets, I have to watch them using an in-market app because the NBA won't let you watch in-market teams for some stupid reason. But they make you use a separate app so they can charge you more money. And the one I use is FanDuel. That's the only one you can use. So I have to use the FanDuel app to watch the Hornets. Even if I didn't want to bet money, I have to at least go on the betting money app to watch the Hornets, right? And they don't help you at all, obviously. Why would they? So whenever you're watching the game, right, let's say this little square right here that you're watching me on is the Hornets broadcast. So they'll have FanDuel advertisements basically all across here and right here and a little bit down here. They're just constantly, and it's stuff like LaMelo Ball already has 20 points tonight. Oh my gosh, why are you blasting your freaking lights on my face? LaMelo Ball already has 20 points tonight. Why don't you bet on him to hit 23 points? It's almost guaranteed. Right? They're trying to convince you of these ways to make money quick. Same thing with OnlyFans. It's trying to convince you of a way to make money quick with disregard of how it could affect your future. Right? It's basically taking advantage of these people that are in these desperate situations that are only seeing the short-term future. Where they're saying, in a month, I can make a bunch of money if I do this really good. Whenever they don't realize that in reality, over a year, they'll keep losing eventually more than they're winning, and they'll be in the negative. Right? It makes me so upset to think about that people have this problem, that so many people have this problem, including me. And another addiction that I notice on there a lot is, well, maybe this just affects me, because I've never really heard anybody else complain about this, but food. I feel like food gets advertised. Like, I mean, I'm drinking McDonald's right now. You know why? It's because I got a McDonald's ad on YouTube today. I don't like to eat fast food. I don't think that it's necessarily like good. I think it's a waste of money, and I think it just makes you fat. But I see an ad for McDonald's on YouTube, and I just go, man, now I just really, really want McDonald's. So then I'll go and buy it. I'll waste my money, and I'll buy food that is garbage for me. I'm not just saying McDonald's either. I can go to Zaxby's, I can go to Bojangles, Cookout, Hardee's, anything. And all of it's bad. None of it's good for you. And I'm spending more money on it than if I were to just make a meal myself. But because it's too easy to do, it's too easy, right? It's almost like, why would I not do it? I'd be taking up way more time to cook me a nice, healthy meal, even though it's cheaper and it's healthier for me. And it's kind of the same way with the Bible, in a way, right? Like, hold on, this is actually a really good opportunity for me to go to the part that I want to read to you about. But I could go all the way to the Bible and say, You know what? I'm just going to read one chapter a day. Let me show you how much one chapter is for reference. One chapter is this and this. That's it. One chapter. It's not this. This at the bottom, that's not it. Just this and this. You could read that in 2 minutes if you're really good at it. You could read that in 2 minutes. But that's not as fun to do, and it makes you think about your life more. You know what is fun to do, and you can just do mindlessly? Scroll on social media. You can do that for hours at a time, and you don't care at all. But read one chapter of the Bible, why would I do that? What's the point? Right? When in reality, it's helping your mental and it's helping your spiritual. Anyway, I think I'm done talking about it. I don't want to blabber on too much. I'm going to get into the devotional part now. Not devotional. I'm just going to read a chapter for you. If you're interested, I'm going into Matthew chapter 4. Again, I randomly pulled up this on my Bible app. Like I said, I've not been a good Christian at all. So, basically, let's say this is my Bible app. I'm just going, oh, I'm picking this one right here. What is this? Oh, 1 Samuel 18, right? That's what I'm doing, basically. So I'm going to read you Matthew 4, okay? This is about the temptation of Jesus. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. So this is whenever Jesus, well, it'll say it in a second, but this is whenever Jesus went into the forest, into the wilderness to fast for 40 days. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, the tempter being Satan, "If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread." But Jesus answered and said, "It is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out the mouth of God." Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, "If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written," that's Satan saying this, "it is written." So, I want to take a moment to acknowledge this. Even Satan knows the Word of God. Satan probably knows the Word of God better than you or I do. So does it make you any better than Satan to just read the Bible? Does it make you any better to just, say, oh, I do the Bible in a year challenge, so I'm going to heaven automatically because I do that? I don't think so. But we can keep going. Anyway. For it is written, "He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone." Which is basically saying, if you're God, then have these angels come down and help you. For it says in the Bible that the angels would help you even if, they wouldn't even let a stone hit your foot. Satan is trying to tempt him. And Jesus said to him, "It is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." And again, the devil taketh him up into an exceedingly high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said to him, "All these things I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." And then Jesus said to Satan, "Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. The reason I wanted to talk about this one specifically, look how much my Bible lights up my face. Anyway, the reason, maybe I should have used this as lighting the entire time. Look at that. The reason I wanted to use that one today was to talk about temptation. If Satan wasn't nervous to tempt the Son of God, somebody who Satan knew was perfect, what makes you think that Satan won't try to tempt you? What makes you think that all of this negative, sinful stuff that you see in life isn't just Satan's way of trying to tempt you into saying, go get some McDonald's right now? Or why don't you go on Pornhub right now? You have yourself a good time. Or just put $50 more in. I'm sure you'll make that money back. Or you deserve to have a good time. Why don't you go spend some time on Instagram? Don't even think about how long you're spending on there. Just have a good time. What makes you think that he's not trying to tempt you with that stuff? Really think about that. Anyway, this video is already way too long. I told myself I was going to try to make this one under 20 minutes, and obviously I've failed miserably at that. So, yeah, that's it. Keep being the best person you can be. Bye.